We are at a critical global tipping point. Iran has requested support from powers such as China and Russia, while negotiations are underway regarding cooperation agreements in the development of nuclear technology. Simultaneously, Iran has called for international mediation to help resolve the escalating conflict with Israel. In recent hours, both the French president and the German government have been accused by Tehran of being complicit in the ongoing attacks taking place in the Iranian capital. Local witnesses report that multiple areas of Tehran are in flames, and there are reports that the state television building has been hit by explosives, an act Iran describes as a direct terrorist assault. Iran has reported new bombings on its territory, but what is truly alarming is that diplomatic sources confirm both Russia and China are holding private meetings with the Iranian government to determine the next steps. Among the scenarios being considered is the potential use of nuclear weapons against strategic targets such as Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, an action that could trigger an unprecedented global escalation. So far, there is no official confirmation that Iran possesses a fully operational nuclear bomb. However, the missiles it has been developing reportedly have a range exceeding 900 kilometers, enough to reach Israeli territory and even parts of Europe, including Germany, Italy, or Cyprus. Tensions are at an all-time high. Israel, for its part, is said to be prepared to respond with force. Estimates suggest it may possess more than 65 nuclear warheads ready for deployment in the event of a direct threat. Analysts believe that a single detonation would not suffice. Israel is reportedly considering a multiple-strike campaign aimed at neutralizing Iran's major cities if a nuclear conflict erupts. Currently, the attacks unfolding in the region remain conventional in nature, but there are growing fears that weapons of mass destruction could soon come into play. Meanwhile, the United States maintains its fleet on high alert in the Red Sea, evaluating a potential intervention with its tactical air force, including B-2 strategic bombers. The looming question remains, who will launch the first nuclear strike? The international community hopes that moment never arrives, although signs point to advanced preparation on several fronts. In recent statements, senior Iranian officials have publicly thanked Pakistan for offering support, a country that also possesses nuclear weapons. Although Pakistan lacks highly precise hypersonic missile systems, it does possess a substantial nuclear arsenal that could potentially be transferred to Iran. Iran, on the other hand, has significant missile capabilities, with an estimated stockpile of over 20,000 projectiles ready for arming. If a tactical alliance between Iran and Pakistan is solidified, the possibility arises that nuclear warheads could be delivered to Tehran, significantly increasing the global risk. Some unconfirmed reports claim that Pakistan has already given the green light to participate actively in the conflict, marking a potential point of no return. In recent declarations, Iranian generals have stated that any nuclear attack by Israel would be met with an equivalent retaliatory strike. So far, many of the warnings issued by Iran have ultimately materialized, a fact that adds to growing concerns over a potential direct confrontation with catastrophic consequences. With over 400 nuclear warheads, some sources even suggesting up to 1,000 in Pakistan's possession, and Iran's vast logistical capacity, the situation appears to be accelerating toward an unprecedented global nuclear crisis. Let's imagine the worst-case scenario, that Pakistan already possesses around 400 operational nuclear warheads. In that case, a coordinated attack on Israel could unleash a devastating storm of nuclear weaponry across its territory. We're talking about the possibility of hundreds of nuclear-tipped missiles striking Israeli soil. Are we truly aware of what that would mean? Do we fully grasp the scale of destruction that would fall upon Jerusalem? Some analysts are already pointing to certain biblical passages that seem to foreshadow a moment like this, where fire consumes the holy city, marking the beginning of a new era, or even the end of times. The reality is that, according to international reports, Jerusalem is currently under attack, while Iran is requesting military and nuclear support from its regional ally, Pakistan. What does this mean? Where are we headed? Are we on the verge of full-scale nuclear war? Pay close attention to these powerful statements made by a high-ranking Iranian official on state media. His words leave no room for misinterpretation. Pakistan has stated it is willing to guarantee Iran's ability to respond to any nuclear aggression. He made it clear, if total war breaks out, Iran will have the necessary support. For a long time, it has been said that Iran still lacks the atomic capabilities to retaliate on equal footing. However, what we are witnessing now directly contradicts that claim. Growing evidence suggests that Iran may not only be in a position to receive nuclear warheads, but that it might already have access to them, with the ability to integrate them into its long-range missile arsenal. This completely reshapes the geopolitical landscape. If caution is not exercised, we could wake up tomorrow in the midst of an unprecedented nuclear conflict. The threat is real, and time to act is running out. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think there is still room for diplomacy? Or are we witnessing the countdown to an unstoppable escalation? Don't forget to follow us for future updates. Turn on notifications and stay informed. We'll be back shortly with more reports. See you soon. Now then, let's pause for a moment. Because beyond the alerts, beyond the headlines and official statements, there is something much deeper at stake here: humanity itself. If this conflict escalates into a nuclear war, we won't be talking about just a confrontation between nations. We'll be talking about the total collapse of the global order. Millions of lives would vanish in a matter of minutes. There would be no winners, only ashes. The humanitarian consequences would be unimaginable: collapsed healthcare systems, cities reduced to rubble, entire generations born under the shadow of radiation. But the most terrifying part would be the invisible damage, the fear, the trauma, the loss of collective meaning. What happens to hope when the sky turns to fire? Geopolitically, the world map would be violently redrawn. Allied countries would be dragged into the conflict, triggering an unstoppable chain reaction. The global economy would plunge into a brutal recession. Markets would close, governments would fall, and new, often authoritarian, powers would rise from the chaos. Spiritually, it would be a deep wound for all of humanity. Jerusalem, a sacred city to Jews, Christians, and Muslims, turned into a nuclear target. What message would that send to the world? How far have we strayed from our essence, from our responsibility as a thinking species? And maybe that's the biggest question of all: how did we get here? How did we allow arrogance, hatred, thirst for power, and mistrust to lead us to the brink of self-destruction? It's time to wake up, not from fear, but from awareness. From collective responsibility. Because what's at stake is not just the future of two countries. It's the destiny of an entire civilization. That's why I invite you not just to follow this channel. I invite you to think, to share this information, to question what we take for granted. Because now more than ever, silence is complicity. See you in the next chapter. If there's still one left.